Screwed that up. Welcome back to Startup Talk. I'm your host, the startup coach, founder of TorontoStarts, and with me today is Jason Ferreira, the founder of One Development Corp. And they are changing the way property acquisition and real estate redevelopment model is happening in Toronto. Welcome, Jason.
Hey, how's it going, Craig? Hey,
everyone. It's going great. Why don't we start with what is One Development Corporation?
Yeah, so I formed One Development because I saw an opportunity to do things a little bit differently in the market, the Toronto real estate market specifically. So we're a real estate development startup. Our focus is primarily modern contemporary homes in the GTA. And so what we do is we take these dated houses and we transform them into these uber cool homes.
Yeah, and I saw a bunch of what I call the lookbook on your site.
Yes.
You know, back in the 70s, the lookbook was a whole different thing, but well, it wasn't anything bad, but
yeah,
those homes look great. Like they're nothing like I would normally see.
Yeah, and that's the kicker. Not only do I have a passion for that design style of home and architecture, but it's very desirable. There's a huge demand for these. And yeah, you're starting to see some of them pop up, but you don't see them often, and that's because this style is relatively new in Canada. You would traditionally find modern homes have been around for over 50 years, and so but generally in warmer climates, California, for example, or Florida, or Mediterranean, et cetera, and that's because they have the temperatures there to build those types of houses, and so. Now we're able to build these here in Canada because the materials have gotten that much better. So you can get really creative in the design style. You don't have to use the typical brick and mortar type houses. You can do a lot of this prefabricated paneling, stucco. And so, these materials are really well designed now to sustain the weather conditions here in Canada, energy conserving windows and doors, things like that. So you can, these are, now that they're, more readily available, the demand for them is very, very high. And so that's the area of the market that we're trying to tap into.
So I like to start with who the entrepreneur was growing up. What were you like as a child? Were you a handful for your parents? Were you studious? Were you into music back then? Sports, socializing? Who was Jason?
Yeah, total troublemaker, of course. I was mama's boy at home, and then once you're out with the boys, it was all hell. No, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, typical kid. I was actually a pretty quiet kid, somewhat of an introvert in the sense that I was a thinker, or a dreamer, if you want to call it that. Always curious. Always good with my hands. I was the kid that would break something and try to put it back together. Things like that. So I was, articulate that way. And, for example, as I got older, I started to, get a little bit more, smarter and craftier with fixing things and building things that once I got to a certain age, my mom would literally call for me versus my dad to come and fix something. So I was that kid who really, was able to put things together. And it sort of, it was kind of like early signs of what brought me to where I am today. So again, I'm a big thinker. I have a very handy, I'm big on putting things together, business specifically, and that's kind of like I said, what's brought me into the home building business. But yeah, I got into everything from skateboarding, basketball, cars and bikes. Again, I was a very hands-on guy. I was a total gearhead, tinkering with all that sort of stuff. So again, I just, was just that guy that, liked working on, challenges and putting things together and really building things and putting stuff together.
So at what point did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur or run your own business?
Well, and good question. And that's kind of what brings me to, what I was like as a kid. And I think this relates to, having that control, I guess, in the sense that, I have this, Lego set, or this thing is broken, and it's me that's basically, putting it all together and taking it upon myself. And I see entrepreneurship as that. You're someone who has this idea, you see a complex problem, and you're bringing all the pieces and the tools together to make this thing work. And so I think that's where it kind of started. Once I got into my career path, which was corporate sales, I spent 15 years of my life, 20 years of my life in the fintech industry, 15 years in corporate sales. I eventually made it to the vice president position. I looked after our Canadian sales division. I was able to generate, in my tenure there, I think we were somewhere over about 100 million in revenue. I was able to access about, I think we were around 30% market share when I started. We got upwards to 90% market share in Canada in our business. And so, that was really, an opportunity for me to kind of, continue on that path of bringing things together. I was vice president of sales. And so I had to network with all the various departments, clients, anywhere from, the software development to product development, finance, project management. I mean, you name it. I was that guy that was pulling it all together to, make the successful sale and become, generate the profits and success that we needed to help build the company in Canada. So, that was, really my experience over the years there. And then, that's where the entrepreneurial side eventually kicked in, and I decided, hey, I want to get into the real estate development business. And so, just to take a step back, so even prior to me starting in the corporate sales, I was already in real estate, somewhat in real estate development. I was in the business of buying, rehabbing, refinance, renting, and repeating. So the BRRR model, where you acquire these down market homes, and I basically got them. Again, tinkering around, I didn't have the resources, the finances to hire contractors. And so I really had to do this myself. So I, would gut these houses right down to the bare, bones, did all the insulation, plumbing, electrical, drywall, flooring, cabinetry, carpentry, you name it. And these are skill sets that I developed from just my hands-on approach and being able to put this whole thing together. So I had a really successful start in real estate, but this is where the corporate path came in. It's like, okay, Jason, it's like, this is a dedicated job. I had to do one or the other. And so I decided to take the corporate path. Now, fast forward, 20 years later, I kind of, did everything that I set out to do. I achieved all my goals in the corporate world. But I started to lose the passion for it and desire. And so that's when I decided, hey, let's get back into this real estate thing. But let's knock it out of the park. Let's take this thing to a whole new level. And that's basically how One Development started.
I'm going to talk about opportunity costs in a minute. But first, as a team builder and someone who has done that whole life, finding the right partnerships and teams, finding the right co-founders or partners or team members, especially in your business, can be really crucial. Can you tell me, how you met your key partners? Was outside the normal hiring process? Was it, doing regular business? What led you to the conclusion that these are the people I trust to work with to help me?
So I think I probably speak for most entrepreneurs. The first people you go for are, friends and colleagues or family. So in my case, it's colleagues. I've established many good working relationships with a lot of different people over the years. And so right now I'm in the process of developing and cultivating, the management. So right now I'm the sole founder of One Development, still in the early stages of bringing on key players. It's right now it's all about partnerships. And my biggest and most important is Embaka Corporation. So Embaka Corporation is a small firm that assists entrepreneurs to help build and grow their business. And so that's basically what that's my main partnership. I had a lot of years of working experience with them. They formed this company to, again, help entrepreneurs like myself to build their companies. So they've got many, many years in financial planning. They know how to build companies, have supported, many mergers, acquisitions. So they're really our top gun to help us analyze financial positions, market trends, strategies, improve cash flow, profits, and really help accelerate our growth. So this, I think, is the most important part of our business and really a differentiator in this market space, because nobody's really taking this level of strategy to help build a company. And so our partnership with Embaka is number one in helping us build this business. I mean, we can take their experience combined with mine and apply this to essentially any business. But my real passion and love is for is for real estate development. So that's where we're at right now. Again, we're growing, so we're bringing on a number of key players. Right now, we're bringing our focus is to bring on a board of advisors or directors. Someone who has a great deal of experience in the development world. So this will help assist us, to kind of expand and move beyond our current model. Construction project managers are going to be key elements as well. So we're already outlining those individuals. I have a strong, relationship with our sales and marketing director. She's going to help us, improve our branding, assist with, the home designs and the sales, et cetera. So right now we're, very well positioned to grow this company. But of course, we need, the funding and the resources to get this going. But, our plan and our team, our partnerships are as solid as they get.
I mentioned opportunity cost. I like to say opportunity cost is infinite, meaning if you're working on this, you're not working on any number of other possibilities. Now you sounds like a great paying job. You're doing well. Why jump back into something like you were doing before? Why jump back into this versus any other opportunity?
Yeah. So again, I touched on a bit of it before. I kind of decided to go down the corporate path, and I just kind of lost that desire and that passion. And I think, again, this comes down to the entrepreneurial side of me is that I really wanted to create something and do something for myself, create an opportunity, that's different than, what else is out there. So that's, really the main driver for, where I'm at. I just needed to do something different. I've always had a passion for real estate development. I just, decided, hey, the corporate job sounded really nice. I got to travel and, we got to, do all sorts of exciting things, met a lot of great people, traveled a lot, et cetera. And so this was an opportunity for me to do something on my own.
So let's get into One Development Corporation. What exactly do you do?
Yeah, so like I said, we take these dated houses and transform them into these uber modern homes. So our model's simple. We're buying these older houses. Generally, there are these bungalow-styled houses with right-sized lots. There is an abundance of these homes that we have an opportunity to acquire. We purchase these houses, we tear them down, and we essentially rebuild them for market sale. And so the hot ticket, the demand is for these modern homes. And again, that's the focus of the style of builds that we're going to be completing in that market space.
I mentioned the uniqueness of the homes I've seen in your lookbook and the stuff you've worked on. Who is those homes? Who is One Development Corp's customer who buys those homes?
Yeah, so basically we're targeting homes for market sale. So we don't build for, let's say, a client or someone who's looking to buy a home. We're targeting, clients or market buyers who want the ready-built modern home. It's market sales. So, through our market research, we know exactly what size to build. We know what the right price point is. We know what types of finishings people are looking for. So again, we've understood that there's a high demand for this particular style of build. So that's who we're building these for. We know that they're generally business professionals, people that know what they want. Again, they want the market, they want the modern style home. They want it built, turnkey, ready to go. People who maybe already had their first home, their first fixer-upper, and now they have the financial resources, dual income. They're like, hey, now let's get the dream home. I don't want to sit around for a year or two through some other developer waiting for it to be built. So we're really catering to that group to have a ready to go market sale home.
Now the pictures I've seen, that they're designed, interior design are incredible. Are they fully furnished? How does what comes with them?
Yeah, no. So what we do, that would be more on the sales side. I mean, we may furbish the house, just obviously like a staging, just so people can get an idea of layout and how they can, use their furniture to fit in that space. But basically, it just comes turnkey. Generally, what we're, one of our plans is that we'll come up with our design. We know exactly, what people are looking for. but it's about 6 to 7 months into the project. Once we've kind of gotten through to the framework, the exterior is kind of all finished, and now we're going to start completing the interior finishes. That's when we put the home up for market sale, and we allow the market buyer then to choose colors, flooring, maybe, depending on what suits them, we could, rearrange some of the spaces in the house. One of the major features that we're really looking forward to is developing these rooftop terraces. So creating, separate spaces, so you can have, the kids playing out in the backyard, and, mom and dad can be up on the rooftop having a drink. So again, we've really done our market research. We know what people want. Again, these types of market buyers, again, looking for, the home space, and even more so now because of the pandemic, the demand for, single family homes has really grown, and even more so for this style of house.
Toronto real estate is always a hot commodity,
Yeah.
Even down markets and whatnot, but it's out of reach for most people. What unmet need are you filling? What problem are you solving?
Yeah. So first of all, like I said, the demand. So we're meeting a demand not only for the detached single family home, but the modern home. The other area that we've created is, and it's really, and this is, I think that another differentiator in what we're doing is that we've created an opportunity for people to get in on the market in a different way. So, someone who, maybe has the seed capital, they want to, invest into a home, but again, it's gotten so expensive, they don't have the resources to get there. So what we've done is we've created an opportunity for people to access the market through us. And so they can essentially invest in One Development, and we do all the work for you. The other area is creating an opportunity for people who have the resources but just don't want to deal with the headaches of real estate investing. Acquiring a home, dealing with contractors, maybe renters, etc. So we're basically removing all of that out of the equation, and we're handling the whole investment strategy for you. So these are the three main areas I think that we're providing, we're solving for. One is the market buyer, and two is the real estate investor.
So doing something like this, I mentioned this kind of earlier when we were talking about the right partners, but doing something this takes a really good network and a high quality professionals. How do you develop your network so you choose contractors and the right partners that know exactly what's what?
Right. So again, I think this is where I bring my experience in organizing teams. I've worked with many different groups in my corporate years. I've dealt with different contractors and suppliers when I did do my development and home rebuilding. And so I know exactly what to look for because we're specific in what we're trying to build, which again are modern homes. We target specific home builders who focus again on that, who have experience in that market space. So architects, engineers, and of course the tradespeople who know how to construct these things. So I've done extensive market research on who those groups are, combined through my network of home builders, tradespeople, architects, engineers. Like I said, combined, they've built hundreds of modern homes across the GTA, and so I've done my homework and done background on them and see what their experience is. I've looked at homes that they built maybe 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Let me see where those houses are. Let me see the condition of them, and so that's how I kind of evaluate the quality of workmanship and what their experience is. So that all being said, I'm very good at developing relationships and kind of understanding the needs and quality workmanship in that regard.
So can you tell me about One Development Corporation's process for deciding, where and what properties to buy? And then, modern architecture is easy to say, but how do you choose the right architecture and design?
Right. Okay. So again, this is where, prior to launching One Development and, creating our business plan, we did, very, we targeted our market research in specific areas. So first of all, we have to start with what the resale value is going to be. Can we build this house in an area that we know is going to sell for the, achieved targeted price? And so we've done that. So that's number one. The second part then is, okay, there's, houses and lot sizes of different different shapes and sizes, what can we build on those? So that's number two. And then the third part is, getting the, appropriate, house at the right price, again, so that we achieve our end value and make it a profitable sale. So we've done a number of different things to ensure that we're, one, going to have a successful sale. Two, we're building the right size homes. And three, the other part too is permitting, for example. That's another more important area. Some neighborhoods are more difficult than others to get a permitting approval. So that could be, pose a huge challenge. So altogether, we've done extensive market research, so we know exactly, what types of streets, what types of houses, the footprint that we need to build these homes.
How long does the process take from deciding to do a new project to the sale and or final delivery? Because, the sale could happen before final delivery.
Yeah, so once we acquire a home, we generally take about 3 to 4 months permitting process. So that's usually the biggest backlog and what determines, how long it's going to take for us to, get this thing completed and for a final sale. So generally about 3 to 4 months from there, and then about another 10 to 12 months in building. So all in all, we project a build or acquisition to sale cycle within 15 months. So if everything goes according to plan, we're able to expedite the project. We try to obviously achieve a much quicker market sale. And like I said, we're working towards doing a pre-market sale. So if we're, everything is going according to plan, and we've, let's say 6 or 7 months into the project, we've kind of got the whole exterior, and now we can, move on to the finishing. We'll put it up for a market sale and try and get that pre-market purchase, deposit. So that enables us then to say, okay, great, we've got this one on the books, or it should be on the books within the next, 5 to 6 months. Let's get onto the next property, and we can sort of get into our business model that we've developed, which is to basically, continue to buy and sell these houses across the GTA over the next 5-7 years.
Yeah, and that was my next question, is about the business model. What does it look like? What kinds of returns are you seeing?
Right. So basically, like I said, we've created a build sell cycle that sees us completing about 22 home builds over the next 5 to 7 years. Once we get to about year 3 to 4, we'll be in a position where we're either buying or selling a home every 2 or 3 months. So it's a very well-designed business model that we created, based on, again, it really depends on the market and what's going on. But we calculated net profits of anywhere from 10 to 12% per home build. So it's a really lucrative business, and if done right, which we're very positioned to do, we can we're going to build this into a large scale development company over time. We've also looked at different other contingencies as well to make sure that we stay profitable. If we stay in the business, we can achieve all of our goals. So we're always evaluating market and economic conditions. So I'm sure a lot of people wondering or listening are probably going to say, well, the market's kind of inflated. What if there's a correction? So things like that, we're on the ball in that regard. So we're always looking at what's the worst case scenario. So although the market looks good right now, the expectation is that prices are unlikely to drop. But you have the other naysayers are saying, this thing is going to crash. There's going to be a 20-30% market correction. So we're already bulking in contingencies for us to be prepared for those sort of things. So we're still in the game. We're still profitable. So we're always evaluating what's happening in the market. We also look at other avenues within this space of how we can do different types of builds, maybe that are less aggressive. So for example, we can save on HST. So CRA will charge home builders HST if you're completing projects that have extensive changes of 90% or more. And so, if we're in a down market period where, things are a bit slow, maybe market sales to build a new home aren't there, we can do maybe smaller renovations and so on. And so we can build under this 90% criteria so we can avoid paying HST. So, those are just a few examples of contingencies and things that we're planning for all the time. And through myself and my partnership with Inbaca, like I mentioned earlier, we're always evaluating, market conditions and ensuring we're profitable and we're in the game. We're safe. Our investors are safe, of course. So again, we're a very, well thought out operation.
uh, managing risk and talking about, managing risk around market is one thing, but how do you manage risk for things like lumber prices? We've seen some drastic changes in the last
Sure.
month or so around that.
Yeah.
Labor strikes and things like changing workplace rules around COVID.
Right. Yeah. So again, that's, the contingencies is really where we bulk things up. We're uber conservative on, our building costs. So for example, we have a per square footage cost, and we've kind of, upped what our expectation of that cost should be. So, in the event, materials or costs do change, we're already positioned to absorb those types of costs. So, when I said that, our net profits around 10 to 12%, that's on the high side. On the low side, it could be 7 or 8%. So even though we have to now account for a greater cost in materials or labor strikes, or we have to carry our costs or our loans for an extended period of time, that just eats into, a bit of our bottom line. But we've, again, established a business model that still maintains profitability. So we're good in just about all, just about any case. And so when, right now we're obviously trying to generate capital. A good part of that raise is not only to help us fund the projects, but it's also to ensure we have that cash flow. So again, we're always, looking at, mitigating, looking at our business model to make sure that we're safe in good times or bad.
So with COVID, is there even more demand for homes in Toronto versus condos and apartments?
Yeah. As bad and, as sad as things have been, with COVID and the pandemic, on the bright side, yeah, the demand for single family homes has definitely gone up. People are, trying to get away from, like condos or tight spaces, these, smaller homes. And so that kind of, worked in our favor in that we're tapping into, we were already planning to tap into that side of the market, single family homes, people that maybe want to stay in the GTA, but the options are, are limited. There's really not a whole lot of these, bigger open space modern homes. And so COVID kind of, helped us in that regard because it really increased the demand for that type of market buyer. People want more space. Quality built homes, which we're certainly able to provide, better air circulation. So modern contemporary homes really provide that. If you look at, the interiors of these houses, they're basically wide open, and a lot of natural light. So exposure to the outdoors, that feeling of openness and, so you're not so confined. A lot of kind of traditional style homes are very compartmentalized. You have like your dining, living, and then you'll have this kind of crappy little room in the front of the house that nobody uses. Everybody walks right by when they come in. So stuff like that, we've taken a real creative approach to the home space and making sure that it's open. The rooftop terrace, like I mentioned, again, you have these kinds of different areas in space where you're outdoors. You could be up on the rooftop with mom and dad, and the kids are out playing in the back, and you have your own outdoor space away from everyone. So modern homes really provide for all of that. So again, this whole change in market needs really has landed in our favor.
And I've always wondered why there weren't more rooftop patios. It just struck me as a complete waste of space. Now I understand in Canada we have snow and we have to think about snow removal and weight and all that kind of stuff, but it just seemed like an obvious no-brainer. And now, again, with COVID, everyone's thinking about not only open spaces, but more separate spaces that people can go to. So
yeah,
you aren't going to choke your kids because you can't
yeah.
you can't stand their face anymore. And I like the idea of like, okay, the parents are on the rooftop patio and the kids are in the backyard, and then you've got 2 or 3 open spaces in the house that people can go to. It's so important nowadays more than ever because everyone seems to be at home, at least the last little while.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, it's just it's the differentiator. It's something different and unique. And so, like I said, we're so used to the traditional style homes that this is really a game changer in that regard. So yeah, as far as COVID's concerned, like I said, is even the air quality is much improved. The airflow is much better. The systems that we're using, et cetera, much more improved. And so it really falls in line with what people would want in a home now.
So it looks like a great business, and you're talking about changing how way people can get involved. So how can people get
Yeah.
involved, invest? Is it project based? Is it company based investing? How does it work?
Yeah, so it is anyone can get in on it, and that's why we designed this thing in the way that we did. Because whether you're a small investor, a large investor, you can invest for as little as $500. You can be an accredited investor, you could be a high net worth investor. Anyone that really has an appetite for real estate, but just doesn't have the resources to maybe invest in a property because it's just gotten so damn expensive, or two, you just don't want to deal with the hassles of investing in a property. We're basically taking we're doing all the legwork, we've done all the market research, we're building a quality market product, and you can get a very significant return on your investment, and become an equity shareholder in the company. So I think that proves offers a lot of value. And again, this is something that's not available, at least from my finding in this market space. Yeah, you may have developers who are kind of doing their own thing with these large projects, and then you have builders, investors, and they're kind of doing their own thing. So on the outside, if you want to get in on that side of the market, there isn't really any opportunity for you to do that. And that's sort of that's basically what we've created, is a niche in this area of real estate development building, where you can become an equity shareholder in our company.
Yeah, you're currently running equity crowdfunding campaign with one of our regulars, Equivesto. How's that going?
Very well. We're really happy with Equivesto. They've got a great team of people, working with us. And so far so good. We've already reached 30% of our minimum $500,000 raise, so that's really great. We're trying to get up to 750, but if we can get up to 500,000, that gets us in the game. We can acquire our first property and start to move things forward.
And sorry, I rolled up so I just put that link in the chat room, and it'll be in the show notes for everyone else. So I scrolled up to grab that. You're offering something I haven't seen before, preferred shares with a 10% dividend for 3 years. Can you tell us how that works?
Yeah, so I think, again, another differentiator in what we're doing, very different than the traditional type of offering. So what we're starting off with to, get people kind of comfortable with us is a Class C preferred share offering, and that's valued at $1 per share with a 10% dividend that pays quarterly, and that's a commitment of 3 years. So during that 3-year period, you're locked in, but you're going to get a 10% dividend after the first 3 months. So this is something that's uncommon. So we're at least working with you in a way that you can commit in a short term. Then we have a common share offering of 3-to-1, meaning you get 3 common shares for every Class C preferred share. So you divide the $1 preferred share by 3. That's 33 cents a share, and that's at a discounted rate of 38% based on our valuation of $10.5 million after 5 to 7 years. So based on a discounted cash flow analysis, your share value today is worth 54 cents. So should we achieve our goal of completing 22 home builds within the 5-7 years, your share value will be at 54 cents per share. But again, we're trying to create incentives for people to jump in through our preferred share offering. So that's at a discount of 38%. So what's great about this is that, look, if you're not quite sure about us, you want to kind of wait things out, you jump in on the preferred share offering. And then after the first year or two, we release our annuals, our financials. You can then look at how well we're doing. If we're performing based on what we had, said from the beginning, we're going to start with one house, first year. By year 2, 3, we'll be in a position where we're, doing 2 to 3 homes we're doing a build sell cycle of every 2 to 3 months. And you can say, holy crap, Jason and the guys at One Development, are doing really well. I want to convert my preferred share to a common share. And so we've created this offering for you to do that at any time during that 3-year period. So, get your 10% dividend, over the first year or two. And then, before your 3 years about to expire, take a look at the financials and go for the long haul and get the big reward on your investment.
Yeah, and apparently you can invest using TFSA or RRSP, and or your investments are TFSA and RRSP eligible. Can you explain how that works?
Correct. So if you already have a pre-existing RSP, TFSA, Equivesto and One Development work with a company called Pacific. They're Pacific. I can't remember the name exactly, but they are a trust company that we're working with. So you can move your RSP TFSA investment and invest it through the trust company. There's a small fee to do that, but you can move a portion of your money over there. Once your money is in with the trust company, you then have the option to keep the full investment under preferred shares over a year, 2 years. Again, you want to move to common shares, you can put a percentage of your RSP TFSA into the common shares, leave the other portion in preferred shares. And that's with the cash investment as well. So at any point, if you put in $10,000 into preferred shares, again, after 2-3 years, things are looking good. You can then say, okay, you know what, Jason, I'm going to take 5,000 back at the end of 3 years, but I want to convert my, the remaining 5,000 into common shares and, ride it out for the next 5 to 7 years. So we're very flexible that way. And so we think the TFSA RSP route is very interesting because, again, people may not have the cash to invest. So why not go the tax-free saving route and use your pre-existing investment and work with One Development?
Yeah, and if people want to find out more, and you went through a lot of information there pretty fast, which is great. Thank you.
Okay.
But where people can find out more on equivesto.com?
Yes, 100%. So go to the Equivesto page. Our offering is there. We kind of give you, kind of a brief breakdown of some of the things that we talked about, the offering, our business model, our projections. And so that gives you kind of the highlights, but to get the details of our business plan, our financials, our modeling, et cetera, you would need to register. So once you are registered, you then have the opportunity to invest and access all the information that we talked about today. Any questions you have, you can get my phone number. My email is in the on the offering page on Equivesto. So you can get all that information there, and you can contact me at any time.
Yeah, and if people have questions about the discount cash flow method and other things, we've got videos up on our website and YouTube. We've had lots of people go through that kind of stuff so people can understand that whole process, because it's confusing, and
it is.
I like some of the names.
Yeah, even like for myself, like I said, our main partnership is in Baca, and again, they have years and years of building businesses and helping entrepreneurs, creating these types of share offerings. And so, all the calculations and the sort of nuts and bolts behind all of that is something I don't even fully understand myself. So, these guys are we have architects in two ways. We have architects in the home building space, and then, Bach is our architect on the financial side. Brilliant team. They've really done a tremendous job in, putting this offering together. And like I said, this is a very creative offering. Most companies don't offer a preferred share offering. You're kind of tied into the common shares, and you don't know what's going to happen over the 5-7 years. And so the preferred share offering is really kind of get you in the door and, see what's going to happen over the next 2-3 years. And if you really like what we're doing, and, we're successful, we're making money, we want you to join in on that as well. Become an equity share owner of the company, and come and take this wild and crazy ride with us and help us redevelop the city of Toronto with these super cool modern homes.
Do you have any tips for founders who are just starting out?
I do. I think the biggest thing obviously is again is developing the right team, working with people that you trust, and formulating, cultivating those relationships, and see where you can go. Networking is absolutely huge. In my early days, I would talk to anyone. I was calling anyone that, made sense to helping me form this company. Maybe, you get one door closed in your face, but that one door could then lead to another door, and you just kind of keep moving forward. And I think I speak for most entrepreneurs. Look, this is not for everyone. It's a lot of long hours, hard work, and you just have to keep going. You just don't give up. You keep pushing forward. And so you, network with the right people to help build your business. My years of experience in the corporate world was based on that. I had a great team of people that would enabled me to be successful. So, partnerships, relationships, your team is going to be your, is going to be your support system to help you, build your company and get move things forward.
Great advice. I just put the link to the lookbook in the chat room, and I'll make sure it's on the podcast show notes so people can take a look when I've mentioned all those beautiful homes and stuff, so people can take a look. And hopefully if you're listening on a Podcasting 2.0 app, I'll have shown these. I'll have taken a few of those pictures, and they'll show up on the app, okay, the podcasting app, as your people are looking at it. It's a cool new feature for chapters. So I like to try and share both success and failure, so there's a chance that others won't make the same mistakes. Can you tell us a time where you screwed up and made the wrong pivot or startup decision?
Again, early stages, again, when I talked a little bit about relationships, and, you kind of, you establish some sort of a relationship, and you think you're working with the right people. And then, as you progress, you find, they're not the right fit. So a lot of hit and misses. And, again, this is where I really, think it's important for you never to give up. You really want to, cultivate the right relationships, always have a backup plan. What's going to be my next step? What am I going to, how am I going to fix this? Because again, there's always going to be challenges. You're going to face a lot of adversity. And so it's something that I know well, and both professionally, personally. And so, you make mistakes along the way. And, one of the big names, in entrepreneurship and business is Gary Vee, obviously. And, his approach and his philosophy is that, mistakes are a good thing. You have to make mistakes to do things the right way. And so sometimes you make these mistakes. It's how you overcome them. How do you get over it? Stop complaining, stop moaning and groaning about it, pull up your big boy pants and, keep going. And so, that's really my approach, is to just keep moving forward. Don't stay down there for too long. Get over those mistakes and just keep plugging.
I think that's great advice. Done is better than perfect, and
Yeah.
and fail fast kind of concepts where, I can always do better next time, but sometimes I got to get this out the door and then get the feedback to make the next one better, rather than waiting for perfection. So you just got to move things forward.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's next for you and One Development Corp?
So yeah, really our focus is on this crowdfunding campaign. We really need the support to move things forward. We have already raised $550,000. So this is money that we, was kind of our first round where we needed to get the company started. Now we need the additional funds through the equity crowdfunding campaign to get us to our first project. So, for anyone that's listening, if you're interested in getting in on a ground level company, you have an interest in real estate development or, real estate investing in general, I think we've created a really unique niche opportunity. It enables people to get in on the market. So once we're able to get that support, we're fully funded, we'll be in a position to acquire our first property and get this thing going. So, don't be one of those, have that investor remorse where, you heard about us at the beginning and then 5 years later we're everywhere and you're like, crap, had I invested in that guy from day one, I'd be a millionaire. And I think, we're steadily moving towards that goal line of becoming a very big and successful company. And so, but we have to start somewhere, and that starts with, support from investors and people who believe in what we're doing.
That's great. It's inspiring, and I like to see what's going on. I like to see the bigger raises happening on crowdfunding, because
Yeah.
it's exciting to see startups have alternative methods. Um, where can people find more about you, Jason? What's One Development social media? Where do people go to find out more?
Yeah. So in on the you can go to our webpage. First of all, it's onedevcorp.com. In there, you can find all of our links to our social media pages. So on Facebook, Instagram is One Dev Corp, LinkedIn as well, and what's the last one? Twitter. So I would say go to our webpage. You can find all of the links there. And then on all of our social media pages, we have a link tree page as well. So you can access information on the campaign, other webinars that we've done. We'll definitely provide a link for the startup podcast. So yeah, we'll have, on any one of our social media sources, you have the link to access all of that information.
And today is June 1st when we're doing the live interview. How long is your campaign running for?
So we launched about 3 weeks ago, I believe. So we've got another 20 days left, 20 or 21 days left. So not a whole lot of time. So I would, we're steadily moving forward. I think we're, going to close probably in the rate in our campaign is going to accelerate really quickly. We're, again, it's kind of the strategy, it takes a couple of weeks to get your kind of lead investors. And now, through podcasts like this, marketing, everyone is really starting to talk about us. We made a appearance on National Post, so things like that. So we're really getting the marketing machine going. A lot of people are hearing from us. So I would encourage you to invest as soon as you can, because this thing is only for another 20 days, and once that's closed, it's unlikely we'll have another raise for at least a couple more years. So. And again, the opportunity could change. Our needs may be different. The offering could also be different. But right now, this is a ground floor offering, and so a huge opportunity for people to invest and get in the market. We have a very strong offering, so get in now because we're only, I think, in another 20 days left. So.
And it's onedevcorp.com, or if you're looking at investing, go to ecovesta.com. I'll put the links in the show notes. So check it out. Thank you for taking the time today, Jason, and talking about One Development Corporation. It's been fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks, Craig. I really appreciate you having me on.
And I look forward to following your campaign and seeing all your success in the future.
For sure. Thanks, Craig.